All right, you guys. So welcome. Super excited to be doing this with you guys this morning, talking about coaching and what it means to be a coach, and answering all the biggest questions that we get. We love, I don't know about you, Christy. I love to do this. I love sharing and just educating people on what it is that we do, because I think there's so many, either preconceived notions or just things that people think what coaching is or is not. And then also just what it means to be a partner with Beachbody. I feel like a lot of times people just don't understand what that's all about. So this is my favorite thing to do because it just allows me to just be completely honest and transparent about how I started, what it's like for me, what we do, what my days look like. I feel like, again, a preconceived notion of people see you on social media and they think whatever they think of when they just see your highlight reel on social, but it just goes so much more than that. Welcome to our presentation. We're going to try to keep this as brief as we can. I know that I tend to chat a lot, so you can always cut me off if it gets to too much, right? And so I'm going to share my screen so we can kind of get into things a little bit here. Where are we here? Screen. I'm going to try to present it so it takes up the whole thing. So let me just bear with me a sec here. Present. Yay. Okay, so I'm assuming you guys see the whole thing, right? You see the whole thing? Okay, good. Yes, and the buttons work. All right, so for those of you that don't know me, my name is Meggin Anderson. I've been a Team Beachbody coach now for 9 years. And Christy, you can chime in. I know that you started a little bit of a different time and have a different background. We kind of wanted to talk about who we were a little bit, just brief, where we came from, what being a coach is to us, get into the questions from there. So Christy, why don't you start? How did you start as a coach, or where did you start, and what kind of catapulted that beginning for you?
So I actually started Beachbody 7.5 years. March will be 8 years. And I really started because I was already teaching group fitness classes, but I was also burnt out. It was several nights a week, and I was looking for another opportunity to help people without being like overexhausted. So I was starting a gym as well as a manager, and I couldn't teach group fitness classes at the other location because it was a conflict of interest. So it's when I dived into the Beachbody world, and it was like, okay, first program I ever done was 21 Day Fix, and that was the first time that I really felt comfortable lifting weights because I was all my classes was more like cardio based at that point. And because we do them at parks or whatever, so it was more cardio. So it was nice to like lift weights and learn proper form and everything. So and just the love of the community and finding that I could do this and at my home. Nobody had to watch me at the gym. So although I love working at the gym, I still like working out at home. So
That's awesome. That's awesome. And you have a family. You have three. Go ahead.
I've got 3 kids. One's 15, and the other two is she's 3.5, and my youngest will turn 2 next month. So they definitely keep me busy. So that's what I like
Yeah,
about
so
this
you're
is like
busy.
I can do it and not necessarily be hands off, but it's like I can fit it into wherever happens my day because no day is the same around here.
Yeah. Well, and I feel like you have the dramatics that come from having a teenager down to
Yeah.
like the crazy chaos that toddlers bring.
Yes.
So you're emotionally and physically exhausted.
Yes, for sure.
That's awesome. That's awesome. In my background's a little bit different. My husband and I ran our own company for about 13 years. So I was a women-owned business, a certified women-owned business in Massachusetts. And that was hard to come by. This was in the year 2000 when we started our company. So I was in sales. I ran the day-to-day. And then in 2005, we had our first kid. So I have 3 kids now. They're 16, 14 and 11. But then at that point they were little and toddlers and stuff. So they were in daycare all day. I hardly ever saw them. I was on the road all the time, plus running the business. So I was working from home as well as working on the road. And it was a lot. And like, I love being business owner. I loved that aspect of my life. I grew up in an entrepreneurial home. So that was something that I was always like, I don't want to work for someone else. I always wanted to have my own thing. And then after we started having kids, my priorities changed, which is a whole nother story in itself, because I just never thought that I wanted to even get married or have a family or anything. I just thought it was going to be me doing my own thing all the time. And it did not turn out that way. So priorities changed, right? And I was also simultaneously getting ready to go into my could be 40, and started to think, like, is this all there was? Like, I was really struggling with, I don't see my family. Someone else is raising them. We're living paycheck to paycheck. Like, it was hard. Even though you own your own business, it's like, you're the last to get paid. You have rent and utilities and a fleet of trucks and like, there was all these things. And while it was, again, great to be business owner, it was not a passion. I could not get excited and jump out of bed about it. And I really started to just wonder, like, if this was all there was. But I always say, meanwhile, I was getting up at the crack of dawn doing my at-home workouts. So I had kind of decided before the business aspect of us running this, that I needed to do something that was going to save me time from home, that I could get up for the kids. And even pre-kids, I was doing my thing at home with Insanity and P90X. And just that part of my day was just there. I was disciplined for a long time on my own doing that. Get in, get out, get it done, and move on with my day. And it was my favorite part of my day. It was one of those times it was like my me time. And again, after I had kids, I made sure that that was a part of my routine still. And always got great results. And I always say, like, meanwhile, because it was just over here, I didn't know anything about Beachbody. It was just because they kept putting program after program out, I just would gravitate to them. So I didn't really think anything of it. It was just my thing, my hobby, my fun, my me time was that time of day. And I would get on and go to the rest of my day. So when I was invited to my first challenge group, this is so funny because this was before social media either. There was Facebook, but I wasn't really on it. It was there. And so Beachbody had these message boards, and you would go on and ask questions to the experts or whoever was in there. I don't even know. And my then coach found me and asked me if I wanted to be a part of a challenge group. And I was like, what's a challenge group? And she's like, well, we're all going to be doing Les Mills Combat together. And I had just grabbed that DVD program. And I was like, wait, what? Like, there are other weirdos working out in their basement too? Like, that's what I thought. I was like, this weirdo all by myself, because I didn't know anybody else that did fitness at home. It just worked for me. So I just did it. I was like the beat of my own drum kind of a thing. But when I found out there was other women, I was like, yeah, I want to be a part of that. Like, I just lit up. Right. And then I don't think it was only like a matter of weeks before I was asked about the business opportunity. And when I found out exactly what the business entailed, my lights went on. I was like, oh my gosh, okay, so you're telling me now that I could take the best part of my day and run a business, have my own business. I don't have rent. I don't have utilities. I don't have employees, like all the things that I hated about our brick and mortar. I was like, oh my God, I'm all in, and it still was I was still at a point where I was like, I don't know how I'm going to go from stepping down as the president and running our company to doing this thing at home. But I was determined to figure it out. And I really just ended up sitting down with my husband after, a couple of months and being like this, there's something here. My heart is over here. Like, this is all I think about all day long. I want to run these groups. I want to help these women. This could also be lucrative for us as far as the residual income and the way that the business model is set up. And we'll kind of get into that a little bit, but, I was immediately like, this was created for me. And I still feel like that today, that this business model was created for somebody like me, that loved the programs already, that, wanted to create a business out of it, but just out of my passion and love for what I do. So that was 9 years ago. That's crazy. And so the other part of that is like, it opened up these other doors, because I always had thought it would be so cool to be in the fitness industry, but I didn't have the mental capacity to go back to school for that or get certified or have the extra money or time to go do that. So this opened up those doors for me. I ended up getting certified for group fitness, several of the live formats and some other things along the way, nutrition coach and all kinds of other things, which has been just really, really cool for me. I've always loved, dig the science and love all that stuff. So, okay. So our mission, let's read it quickly. Empowering women who love fitness and are looking to build a life of freedom, fulfillment, and legacy. In our purpose-driven approach, we pay it forward together by contributing to others through love, service, and giving to ultimately make an impact into other women's lives. Mothers mostly, I think, are on our team, which is pretty awesome. Professional women and moms with faith-based values, leading with love, service, and value, who are looking for more. Hardworking, determined, figure-it-outable mentality, coachable, never give up, disciplined, motivated, goal-oriented. An organization full of women who believe in themselves and they're not afraid to live out loud and do the things that fill them up. So I get goosebumps every time I read that. I love that. Okay, so coaching is essentially about three things. Christy, tell us what's number one.
Number one, living a healthy and fulfilling life. So what does that mean? It means being simply a product of the product. So doing our workout programs, that's the greatest thing, and that's what brings me in, is the workouts, and really having, because when I was in deep with the personal training and stuff, you were so overwhelmed with creating everything for everybody else that you kind of put yourself on the back burner. So having a plan, like, this is the workout I show up and do today, and not really having to think about it because it's all done for you. Like, your workout calendar is done for you. You know what workout to do. And it's like really simple. So just showing up and doing your workouts, and then following nutrition programs. So there's several different options on the nutrition, but picking one that you can create as a lifestyle and staying on track with it. So just creating that healthy and fulfilling life is like just being in your health and fitness routine yourself. And not every day has to be perfect, but just continuing to show up and be consistent and a little bit better every day. You may fall off the wagon, and that's okay. That doesn't mean that you're not a great coach. It just means that you're human.
Yeah, that's so true. That's true. And I feel like the other huge part of that, besides the fitness and the nutrition, is the personal development. Like, that was a big one for me. I don't think I've ever been a part of any organization or company that encouraged working on yourself, right? Because we know that this all starts between our ears. So filling your cup every day with, whether it's gratitude or journaling or personal development or professional development, you're working on yourself every single day to just lead that lifestyle. And I always tell all my members in my community that, I say, if you're watching me right now and you're here, like, in the group every single day, you are leading a healthy lifestyle. Saying yes and starting is you're doing it. Like, you're doing it. So people are always like black and white, on or off. It doesn't have to be like that. You're leading a healthy life, whatever that looks like for you, right? And then the second part of that is you're inspiring others to do the same thing. So we share on social media, or in our communities, or in our churches, or in our schools. Like, we're talking about what we do. We're sharing, living that life and sharing tips with people, and motivation with people, and encouraging them that they can also do this. Like, and that's a big thing too, is I think a lot of people will look in and be like, oh, I could never do what you do, or I could never be a coach. Like, a coach is just a word. Like, as long as you are one step ahead of the person that hasn't started yet, you're coaching them, you're a guide, you're a leader. So inspiring others to follow in your footsteps is a second thing about being a coach. And the third
I attribute that a lot. Something just popped in my head. You don't have to be like, know everything about the fitness or nutrition or anything. In the gym world, we would call them gym moms. They were always the people that welcomed everybody and showed them how to do things, and like, hey, this is where you can put your stuff. Like, not necessarily knowing everything about the gym, but at least making them feel welcome. To me, that's what a coach is. It's like, they've got the tools, and they're just sharing the tools with people that they know that can help. So
I love that gym mom term. That's great. That's a great term.
We always had no matter what gym I worked at, we always had a couple of gym moms.
That's so good. That because you need somebody that's like a little tour guide, and that's
Yeah.
essentially what we do for sure. Um, and then the other part, the other aspect or the third aspect is that when we do have members that participate and join us, we have accountability groups that we put them in. So that's my favorite thing about what we do, and an easy way to help people, because essentially the support and the accountability of the group, you're working together. It's not like you're alone just being like, I'm the coach, do this, do this, do this. It's a community of support. And so the other people that have either started before you or have started, at the same time, you're supporting each other all at the same time. And kudos and all the things happening. So running those groups is really amazing. I would also say, Christy and I run groups together. And we also, when our new coaches come in, we encourage them to be a part of those groups as well, and bring their people in, so that you don't have to ever worry about doing it on your own. Our job is to equip you so that you can fly off and do your own thing at some point. But in the very beginning, I think it's crucial for us to all stay together and be accountable together. And then when you're ready for the next step and you have, people in place that you want to go and do your own thing, then that is the next step for you at that point. Anything to add?
That was good. Yeah. So I always like when you're first getting started, don't be intimidated by how am I supposed to like run a group or do this or do that, because we're here and your job is just to be the gym mom or the cheerleader and help people cheer them on, or make sure that they're like, if they've checked in with their workout, or if they haven't checked in with their workout, then that's where you come in and you're like, hey, where'd you go? Like, did you do your workout today? So being that gym mom or that cheerleader.
Absolutely. Okay, so what does it mean to partner with Beachbody? So a couple of different things. I love that there's recognition and prizes. I feel like some people are like, they either gravitate to the recognition or money or a prize, like swag, like everybody's kind of has their love language of what gets them excited about, the business and things like that. But we have a number of different things that we accumulate from each month. There's ways to earn prizes and trips. Right now we're doing something we call Team Cup, and I think they do it a couple times a year. I was going to say quarterly, but I think it's only a couple times a year, if that. But essentially it's just like a contest for working your business. There really is nothing special about it other than they beef up the prizes for this time of year. So August, we're having a cup month, and you get your name on the cup if you win, which is like a big Stanley Cup at corporate, which is kind of funny. And I think you actually get to go there. The grand prize is you get to go there and work out with the trainers and stuff. So that would be something that would geek me out for sure. But you can also, by just working your business and having the basic benchmark every single month, you can earn trips. They do an annual trip. They call a Success Club trip. It just basically means you're earning points for working with people throughout the year, and you accumulate so many points and you get to go on the trips. And then there's also like t-shirts that you earn from, completing programs. If you have a huge weight loss, you can earn money from the Beachbody Challenge. So there's a lot of different ways to earn recognition and prizes. And then we do team recognition too. I think that's a lot of fun too, is whether it's a leaderboard inside of our challenge groups for number of workouts logged, or it's, number of people that you worked with, that your team will recognize you for those kinds of things, and shout outs and stuff like that. So a number of different, things and recognition that you can get. You want to take the next ones?
Yeah, so weekly income. So how do we earn? So as you are working, then for every person that you sign up and get started, and you earn commissions off of all of the programs, products, everything basically you earn a commission off of. And we get paid weekly. So every Thursday, you'll have a paycheck. Don't forget to set up direct deposit. But you'll have a paycheck for what you've accumulated through the previous week. And that to me is something that's very like special, because coming in, I didn't have like an expectation of making like a lot of money. It was more of just like extra income. Like, what can I do extra? And then I kind of just like, what was I going to do with my money? And sometimes like just paying extra stuff off, or we would, set it aside for doing something else. So it's just having that income coming in every week allows me to do more things in our home and in our family, and I just appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And these days it's gas and groceries, right?
Yeah, really, like groceries has gotten ridiculous.
Yeah, a little, just a little. And then we have, I mentioned the trip, but there are also live events, which I always tell my team there should be non-negotiable to be in person and live with people, because there's nothing better. I feel like this is an interesting and unique situation where you have, this profession where you're working at home, you're running your own thing. I'm alone most of the time, except for when I'm talking to Christy and Sarah, and our other team members. But when you are in person with other coaches, it's like, it makes all the difference, because you sort of realize that you aren't alone. Like, there are people. The first time I went to, we have these super weekend events. And the first time I went to a super weekend event, they're held quarterly all over the United States, Canada, and the United Kingdom at the same time. And so it was literally like an hour away from me. And I was shocked at how many coaches lived around me. I really did not realize. I, again, thought I was the weirdo that did this thing. And to find out there were so many others, I was like, this is something. And then to be a part of it, the movement, the inspiration, like being together is like, just reinforces your decision to become a coach and why it's so powerful. It literally is like a movement to helping people lead these healthier lives, and that we're all on the same page together, and that we're all so like-minded. And it's like, you could talk forever with all of these people because they're just all on the same page as you. And it's really cool. So you've got the trips, you've got your quarterly events, and then you've got our annual summit, which is our annual conference that happens in the summertime. So we actually just got back from that in July too. So 2 for the last couple of weeks for me were in person with people. I went to summit with Sarah, and then got to host our Boston event here in Massachusetts, or I'm in New Hampshire, but it was in Massachusetts last week. And was just awesome to be in person with everyone. And then as you start to go to the events, you start to see the same people over and over. So then you're like, it's like old home week, right? And now coming off of COVID, it's even more exciting to be with everybody, because you have not seen real people in maybe years, literally, right? And then we also have opportunities for team retreats. And I know that Sarah and I have been talking a lot about creating that for our team next year. For me, I'm always thinking about, PJs by a fire pit, drinking spicy margaritas at the lake, and toasting our success and on a boat ride. And that's, if you follow me on the lake, that's all what I'm about here. So and it's just our opportunity for training and mentoring, and it's just a huge experience. If you ever get an opportunity to attend a live event, it's a must do for sure. So just some pictures. My transformation over the years, like, I feel like I've done all kinds of different programs. It's also given me opportunity to step on stage a couple times for a couple of amateur bikini competitions. I actually thought I was going to do that for a while, and then I was like, a little obsessive when it came to the food. So I was like, I don't think I want to go that route. I think I'm better off helping people with balance, but that was fun. Good bucket list thing for sure. And then this was in 2019, right before everything was shut down. This was our last summit event. This was the super workout. That was our team, just our team. There are literally thousands of people in the streets. I don't think I have a picture of the streets, but they literally shut down streets for us to do our workout. My husband and I got to go to Punta Cana, and we've gone to Mexico. This was way back in the beginning with Mexico. That was a long time ago. I earned NLC, which is our new leader conference, this last, oh my gosh, was that last winter or something? Yeah, December, Las Vegas. It was Las Vegas, it was cold. So that's cool, because when you get to a certain benchmark in your business, you're developing leaders, you have to earn an invitation to that event. So these are all the girls that are working at the same level as me. And it was like an intimate training that we got to do, and a new workout workout with our new super trainer, Jennifer Jacobs. And these girls in the front here, they're like the best of the best leaders in the network. And they literally come in, there's only like a couple hundred of us. They put you up in a hotel, they give you all kinds of goodie bags. And they're training you in this intimate setting with like all of the things. And they are training you for the place you are. So they brought in a girl that talked to us that was at the conference last year at that same time. And she now has gone to the next level in her business. So she was talking to us about her journey and what that looked like. And I think that's really interesting. Like from my perspective as a growing leader, like you start with these benchmarks, you start with the basics, and you always keep those basics, but you're always thinking, okay, what's next? How can I improve? Especially if you're looking to build this business, to do something more meaningful in your life, or others' lives too. And then this was our super weekend in Boston. We got Joel, which was so awesome. And I hosted that event too. So I actually got to like talk to him a lot, which was so fun. I wanted to like ask him a million questions, but being a fangirl, I didn't want to be like a stalker, So he led a workout for us in Boston. That was in February. And then I ended up going to Orlando for the next super weekend. And guess who was there? And I didn't do that on purpose, but I was absolutely happy that he was there in Orlando. I'm like, I wanted to say, do you remember me? With all the people he knows, right? Yeah. Okay. All right, let's get into some of the questions. This is the fun part. So I love this. Actually, this happened to me yesterday. I do not want to be a salesperson, or I'm not sure I want to be a salesperson. Do I have to sell? Like that's a big thing for people. And I feel like this is at the end of the day, it is a direct sales company, right? We are selling products. You do make commissions on products. You are selling the service, the fitness service, right? So at the end of the day, you are selling in order to make an income, and that's how that works. However, it really is more about being authentic to who you are, right? So for me, it doesn't feel like selling because I'm already in love with all of the things that we have and we do. Do I sell everything? No, but the things that I love, the things that I consume on a daily basis, I can get behind them, and I am authentically sharing that with other people. I share with people how it benefits me, what it's doing for me, how much I love it, why, all the benefits that either the fitness program gives me, or the nutrition program, or whatever aspect of it. And it's because I love it so much that it doesn't feel icky or weird or uncomfortable, because it's something that I already love. It would be the same thing if you went to like this awesome steakhouse down the street and you had an incredible meal with incredible service, and the food was to die for, and the price point was there, and like all the things. You would be telling your girlfriends, you got to go down there. They have the awesomest, steak and margaritas and whatever it is. Like you're loving it, so you're just telling people about it, right? And I think also too, our most successful coaches, I always say, are born out of our challenge groups, are born out of our accountability groups, because they start as a customer or a member that wants to, get better for themselves, right? And in the process, they fall in love with their program. They fall in love with the process of the mindset and the nutrition and all the things. And it's almost like by accident that they start sharing with people, or people start asking them, what are you doing? How, they can see that you changed. You're becoming a better person. You're becoming a better mother. Like you're changing because you've changed A, B, and C first, right? So it's at the end of the day, technically speaking, you are selling products to earn an income. That is what direct sales means, but it's really about being authentic to the product, right? So we also wouldn't want you to be a part of this if you couldn't truly get behind the mission, what they do. Like if you weren't using them yourself and getting results and enjoying it, then, because it's not about slinging shakes, right? It's not about selling. Like, yes, that's how you earn an income. I feel like that's a byproduct. Like that's like the icing on the cake, is that you earn income from doing this thing that you love already. So that's always what I have to say about that. I don't know if you have anything you want to add, either of you.
Yeah, so I think that just being, when you fall in love with your workouts or your nutrition or your supplements, it's easy to share what you're doing because people see a difference in you, whether it's, losing weight or just being healthy or having more energy or whatever, people see that and it's easy for you to share that. So it's not like icky car salesman kind of thing. It's more of, if you go to Target and you find like the greatest pair of shoes ever, you're going to share it. So same thing is like if you're doing your workouts and it's making you feel great, then it's easy to share that because it's authentically something that you love. And I've always stood behind it. I don't personally love it, then it's hard for me to share it. So everything that I share is everything that I love. So, and it's
Yeah.
like I love our workouts and our nutrition and everything. It's just amazing.
And I think too, like I will always say too, you'll never see me sharing anything that I can't get into. Like there are
Mhm.
products that we don't like. We
Yeah.
have the 3-day refresh. I'm just
Yeah.
not a fan. And that's
No.
not to say that it wouldn't work for someone else, but for me personally, I just can't get into it. I don't personally so I won't share something that I'm not in. And like, the ultimate reset is something else that we have now. People go on and on and on about I'm sure there are benefits, but I've never tried it, and I couldn't begin to tell you what the benefits were behind it because I've just never been a part of doing that. I honestly don't really have any urge to do that. So like, that's just the way that I work. Like I wouldn't all of a sudden just be like, oh, we're having this sale on the ultimate reset, so I'm going to start telling you about it. Like I always say too, like sometimes it's hard for me to share what I'm doing because I'm on autopilot a lot too, doing a lot of this stuff. And like, I have to be like, oh yeah, someone else could have a benefit. Like I'm riding my bike all the time, but I don't always post about the bike. And it's like, it's just part of my life. Right. And I love all the aspects.
Yeah, I feel like as a coach, you do find that one thing or two things that you really fall in love with. And it's great to share about other things. Like, I have people that do the 3-day refresh, but at the same time, I've tried it and it's not for me. So, like, I lean on them and, like, hey, tell me, like, what you love about this so that when I have somebody that is interested in it, I have that knowledge and that kind of like community aspect of it to be able to share it. But I can personally say it's not for me. But if you want to give it a try, I can like you guys can be like buddies and you guys can go through it together. So it's great to have that resource of community. You don't have to be into everything and know everything. You've got a community to support on that.
Absolutely. All right, you should take the next one.
Um, do I need a lot of free time to be successful? No. So my days are literally crazy. So when I first started this, my life looked so different because I only had one kid. He was in school. And so I had eventually left the gym world and I was at home and I was like, okay, I'm really going to push this coaching. Like I'm really, instead of making it just, side money here or there, I'm really going to start turning it into a business. And so my life looked a lot different because I had like from 8 o'clock until 3 o'clock that he was in school. So I could do different things. But now I'm back into the working it in when I can work. So with the little ones, they don't get to get daycare. They're literally with me 24/7. So it's when it's nap time. It's early in the mornings when I'm waiting for the school bus to pick up my son because you'd think he was in kindergarten having to stay on him to get on the bus. But um, I do it in the mornings. I do it sometimes like when the girls are napping, or honestly, sometimes when I'm just like they're playing and it's like I'll sit at the bar in their kitchen and I'll like knock out some work. And it's literally, you've got a checklist. And as long as I'm like checking it off as I go, I know what I have left to do. So it's simple to like just say, okay, I've got 10 minutes here or I've got 20 minutes here. And then at the end of the day, you look back and you're like, it doesn't feel like I got a lot done. But then you look at your checklist and it's like, oh yeah, I really did work my business today. So it's easy to make it fit in whatever life. And then on Sunday nights, usually I really want to unplug with like and de-stress. And so I will plan out my week and like think like, how do I want my week to look like? And it doesn't always happen. And there's always like a hiccup in it, but at least I go into the week knowing what I've got planned. And so I just plug into like, where can I fit into my business in what we've got going on in our life? So.
Yeah, that's great. And I think, we didn't start off being really good at that, right? We've had to
No.
train and learn about time blocking and time management, and it's just a skill that you develop over time. And it comes out of like, you don't want the week to run you want to run the week and feel good. And so we have all kinds of time blocking trainings. We train our coaches on that stuff. And then she mentioned the task list. There is a activity tracker that we work off of. So, and I love that too, because it's super basic. You can go through the things, do what you need to do. And then like, if you get interrupted, like we all do several times a day, depending on what you're doing, you get interrupted, you got to go make a snack or go get somebody at school or whatever. You come back and you can be like, okay, this is where I left off. I have time for this and this right now. And then like, and that's sometimes the best that you can do. We all have those moments too, because when I first started, mine were little too. And I was a stay-at-home mom for the first time when I decided to come home. And that was really hard in itself, like having somebody needing you 24/7. I did not know what I was getting into. It was not like you can like dismiss somebody and shut your office door. Like they literally needed food and help and naps. And yeah, that was a challenge in itself.
That has been one of the, because I worked when Cuddy was younger. And so like he went to daycare. So he'd been at daycare from 6 weeks on. And it was like, I really don't know which one's harder, working and like feeling like you're like frazzled all the time and running around like crazy, or be at home and feeling like you don't have a second to yourself. I'm not sure which one's worse.
Yeah. And again, it's about, because the other big people, or a lot of big misconception, or not misconception, but a lot of things that people will say, well, the first thing is, I don't have time. Like, are you into fitness? Oh, I don't have time for me, or I don't have time for this, or I don't have time to work the business. And it's really not about, like, we all have the same hours in the day, right? And so what makes me different than you or somebody else? It's just the way that you utilize the time. So being intentional has been huge for me, setting timers when I'm working, watching the clock, and just, being more focused about that stuff. But we talk about that ongoing as far as our leadership and our trainings too. So do you need to be a fitness expert? No, this is cool. Like obviously Christy came in, and there are a lot of successful trainers and coaches and fitness instructors that come into this business and use this as another vehicle and another tool to help them grow. But we already have all of the resources, the workout programs, the nutrition programs, the tools, the meal plans, all that stuff has already been created by experts. So you don't need to know anything about that stuff. Really, as like Christy said, you're the gym mom. As a coach, it's your job to navigate people through the resources and support them, right? And again, if you started, or if you already have your day one, you're one step ahead of anybody else that has not begun yet. So you already know more than they do, right? And as long as you're a step ahead, you still know more. And the other cool part about it, especially in the beginning, we do have a lot of training resources and stuff, but really you learn by doing and experiencing it. And that's how you kind of figure out and navigate through things, but you're never alone either, right? So you will always have a way to look something up if someone has a question, or come to one of us and ask a question, or go into there's so many resources as far as getting help. And I always say, you're never going to know everything. Like I still don't know everything. Like over time, as my business has grown, then now I'm ready to understand this part of things now, but you really stick to the basics for super long, and it just is going to get you. And still today, we still stick to that task list and the basics and stuff. And that's really the foundation of the business. So that's really a huge perk is that there's already experts that have developed all this stuff. And there's a ton of, videos that you can share with somebody, like, tell me more about Energize. Oh yes, I love Energize because it gets me going in the morning. Check out this video, and that's how you can do that, especially in the beginning too, before you have a transformation story, Okay, do we need to be at our goals yet, Christy?
No. So actually one of the biggest things is just start. So you don't have to be at your goals, because this is like an ongoing journey. So being at your goals, like your goals are always going to change and your life is always going to change. So my thing is always creating this consistency. So I'm not always just looking to be at my goals. It's like, where else can I go? And sometimes in seasons I go all in, And sometimes it's like, I need to take a step back. I want to enjoy summer. You know, I may not be as strict on my workouts or my nutrition, but I'm still on that long-term healthy lifestyle goal. And so that's what it's all about. It's not about like getting to that end goal and saying, okay, well, I can coach when I lose X amount of weight or when I see my six pack abs or whatever. It's more about being on that journey and sharing your journey along the way. And you're just pulling somebody and asking somebody to come on the journey with you. You don't have to be at your destination to inspire somebody else to start. And honestly, when you first start and get started on your journey, is really impactful because that's when you see the biggest, I don't want to say results, but you see the biggest transformation when it comes to how you feel, how you sleep, your energy level, like just overall changing when you start getting into working out and eating healthy, then you start seeing those things. And it's easy to share that because it's so different than what you was doing before that it's easy to share like, hey, I'm doing this and I'm feeling great. So when you're sharing your journey as you go, people's going to see more impact. People want to see you on the journey, not your day one and then in 30 days or 90 days you've got all this transformation and it's like, okay, now I'm here, now I can help you. And they're like, well, what'd you do? Well, they don't know unless you're sharing them and talking to people about it and sharing your journey. People want to see your journey, not the end goal.
Right. I will say too that it's definitely getting more, I have to get more creative about sharing my story because it's been so long now that I've been at it. Right. And
Yeah.
like I was saying before, I'm on autopilot just because this is my life now. Like I get up early, do the morning routine, drink the shakes. Like I do all this stuff and I'm on just like a robot going through my time. So it definitely takes me a little bit more to get more like, how do I reach those people that have just started, right? Like, yes, it's great that I've been at this for so long on one hand, but on the other hand, those people are like, but you're so far along, like it seems so far away, right? And I will also say there's another really good example of a coach that has been really successful over this last year. She was a coach for a number of years, and then she got pregnant. And this last year lost 100 pounds post baby. And so what she did was chronicled her, or what the word is, chronicled her journey, like every step of the way. Every day she'd be like 86 pounds down, or 6 pounds down, or whatever it was. Every day, this is what I'm doing. This is what I ate. Like she went through the whole thing and was like, I'm struggling. This is hard, but I'm not giving up on myself. And like, she literally like vlogged it the whole way. And like, she ended up losing 100 pounds and it was great. And she obviously has very dramatic before and after pictures at this point, but it still took her a year to do that. Right. Mm-hmm. So just like, yeah, remembering that it's just so much more relatable in the beginning, people are going to be drawn into you because of what you're doing. And that can be really exciting. Oh, well, this first one's me all over it. You have to have a large following in social media. I always say I can't teach an old dog new tricks. Maybe. I feel like I'm still trying to figure out social media. This has probably been the biggest hurdle for me because when I had my company and our business, it was door to door. Like I was in the car, knocking on doors, face to face with businesses. We sometimes did emails, but that was very new too. A lot of it was phone calls. A lot of it was in person. So when I had to start sharing on social media, I was a super mess, like did all the wrong things. Like I think everybody does. But there was also no such thing as Instagram when I first started. And Facebook, like I had it, but I didn't know how to use it. So no, everything you need to know you can learn. And that's the other beauty about today's day and age now. Like you can learn anything on YouTube, like literally you can learn how to do anything on YouTube. But we have a ton of training. We have our own team university that we're part of, the #1 team in the whole network for 2021 and on track to get there for 2022. So the leaders that we have are the top in the company, have developed an awesome university. And social media gurus too. Just, I feel like because they're that age group also that grew up in social media, so they gravitated to it right away. So they're on there teaching and training us, and we do a lot of team trainings, a lot of calls. Plus the company, Beachbody themselves, has a lot of training on social media, how to talk to people, how to grow it. And I also feel like the way that we were trained when we first started coaching is not how they train now. Like when we first started, it was like, how many people can you get? How many likes? How many followers? It was like this volume, right, of people, like that's going to grow you. And maybe that worked back in the day, but now people are catching on to that. So it's more important now to develop those relationships with people. It's not really about how many followers you have. It's about how many really good connections can you make and, relate to people. So, again, it's been a learning curve for sure. And the fact that they've kind of changed and morphed throughout the years, but I love the way that it's going now, because it really is about the quality of the relationship and the conversation you have versus how many hey girl messages you could send out, which was the MO back in the day. It was a numbers game. I mean, sales is a numbers game, it really is. But at the end of the day, if you can build a relationship and create a team of quality women that are like you, you're all going to be successful together. I mean, that's just the bottom line. You don't need hundreds and hundreds of people on your team in order to be successful. You just need a handful of really good close connections. Am I on this alone?
No, never. So one of the things about fitness that has drew me in over the years is the communities. So you literally meet people that you never would have thought and you click with, like me and Megan. Like if I wasn't in Beachbody, I definitely wouldn't have like met her. We met through a mentorship. So it's building them relationships and support system through your community. So you're never like in this alone. So as a coach, then you'll be welcomed into our teams and running groups together. You'll be able to plug in and have that community aspect and just know that like you're never there alone. So when you are first starting out, you have the tools and resources and the community to help you get started and what to do. And then as you rise up in your business, then you'll be able to bring people along with you and mentor them to help them as well. And then create this community atmosphere. So I love the community. I think the community is the greatest part of it. And just, you create friendships that you wouldn't have ever created had you not been in fitness or in our coaching world.
Yeah, and I think that's most interesting to me too. That never really dawned on me when I started listening to, we have a weekly call that we listen to on Mondays, and there was like a personal trainer person background had been on there. And she was saying that as a personal trainer, she always felt so alone and was doing her own thing. And that was like the biggest thing was for her to have a bunch of support all of a sudden. And she had never known what that was like. And she had pushed off being a part of something like this for so long because she just thought it's not for me, it's not for me, it's not for me. But when she finally decided, I think like you, Christy, to do her own workout was when she got introduced to the community. And then she was like, wait a second, this is something that I didn't know I needed until I needed it. So that's really awesome. Okay, so how do we earn? This is always everyone's most excited question, right? So there's 2 buckets to fill as a coach. The products is 1 bucket. Retail sales, you earn a 25% commission on everything that you sell. And then the other aspect is building a team and adding other leaders to your team and showing them how to do the same things. I really don't like to go into the compensation plan in full detail, but what I will do is post that video inside of the group. I always stumble on how I explain it because I feel like the words just don't come out right. But I want you to really understand what that true meaning is of, building a business. And so literally there's a lot of different ways to build this, right? You could do this as like as a part-time income where you're just selling some challenge packs or Shakeology or whatever, and the retail sales are there, and that's great. And you can totally earn some nice extra cash throughout your weeks and months and cash for Christmas and all of that fun stuff with just selling the retail stuff. But the next kind of level of income is when you start to build a team. And when you start to add coaches to your team, you start to unlock the bonus structure. So you get what we call a cycle bonus. And so, for example, if you just add 2 people to your team, you start to cycle through these. Remember, I mentioned the points before. We have these volume points that you cycle through. And so once you start accumulating these points, you start to earn, as an Emerald coach, which is your first ring, you start to earn this bonus $14 a cycle. Now, I will say that we have a little bit of an advantage being a part of our team. As I mentioned, we're number one in the network, so we have some of the highest volume points that you'll see team wide, and just by becoming a part of the team, you automatically earn those bonuses as a default, which is pretty cool. It's kind of insane when you think about it. And then, as you grow and add more to your team, bonus structure grows. So I guess the point that I'm getting at is, if you're in a place where you're looking to grow substantial income, then you want to look at this business as growing a team as well, and adding to your organization, and becoming a leader and developing those leaders. And then, we talk about different ways to go about it. Like I said, you hobby coach, you can get into it just for the discount. You can be a business builder. There's a lot of different ways and everything in between. And so you can just get with your coach on what is going to work best for you. And then I think also that morphs over time, right? You come into it with one thing. I will say that the majority of people come in and work this business part-time because they already have a full-time career. So they either see this as something to supplement their income, or they see this as something that could potentially later on, years later, replace their income, or something to that effect. And again, I think that the Team Beachbody thing is somewhere here about the opportunity. Beachbody doesn't guarantee any level of opportunity. It comes from your own diligence, skill, and effort. That has to be said, because it really is, you get out what you put into it. So, if you have big goals and you want to run, we can help you with that. If you're just here to earn a second revenue stream to pay for gas this week, then we can help you with that too. And then again, over time, I think you see the potential and you see what you can put in. Like in the beginning, you're trying to figure it all out. But as you go through, you're like, okay, I can put more time in here. Or if I do X, Y, Z, I want to get to this goal, and we have different benchmarks and all kinds of different goals to go after in the company. So it just really depends on you, what your lifestyle is like, and what your goals and dreams are about it. How much does it cost to start? Go ahead, Christy.
All right. So to start your business, and I will tell you that this is, before I go into details, the opportunity that you have versus the startup cost is crazy, because something I didn't say in my story is we almost purchased an Anytime Fitness franchise before I stepped away from working. And the cost of that was astronomical. And to think like all the things that goes into it, plus the overhead of daily, monthly stuff, is crazy. And then you had to pay them to use that name. So it wasn't like a one-time fee. Every single month would have to pay to use that Anytime Fitness name. So just that being said, coming from the fitness world, this was like what made it click for me. Because I had the opportunity. We were so close, and I'm so thankful it didn't work out, because then COVID hit, gyms got shut down, and it was like, where would we now? I have no clue. So the cost of starting your business as a coach is $160. So basically that is just for your stuff. So you can't, and I speak from our team, is like, you don't want to come in and say, I'm not going to do the programs, I'm not going to do the products, because that's never going to work. So you want to have access to everything that your clients are going to have access to. So you're going to get your workouts on demand. You're going to get like whatever supplement that you choose to get started with, and that's going to be $160. So that's like super cheap. That's like cheaper than a gym membership, to be honest. And your ongoing fees that you're going to have is honestly just going to be whatever products that you decide that you want to use. And then every month you have a $15.95 coach membership fee. And remember I said that Anytime Fitness had a fee I had to pay them. It was $595 a month that you had to use to pay to use their like name. And that wasn't like your back office or anything like that. So for us to be able to sell for $15.95 our coach membership, and have trainings, have our back office, have like shipping covered for us, customer service, say your client doesn't receive their package on time or it comes damaged, it's not up to you to fix it. You literally have a whole department that does that for you. So It's amazing to think about like the value that for $15.95 you have all them resources that you've got your website, you've got marketing, you've got training, you've got like literally everything covered. So like you pick which package that you want to get started with, and then your ongoing fee is $15.95 a month. So it's just amazing.
Yeah, that's crazy for sure.
Yeah.
And I was going to say too, I always talk about our business was that like when we started our company, it was $100,000 loan to get started. We had inventory that we had to stock. We were a customer service. I was a salesperson. I was the customer service person. Like it was a lot. And so to be able to like put that, like you said, $15 a month, like hello, was a no brainer. And the other thing I was going to just mention too is that like this type of a business is recession proof, is COVID proof. Like our team, I mentioned top in the company in 2021, when everything was shutting down, we were flourishing. We were helping people. This shined the light on what we do from a remote perspective. People, it was kind of a hard sell before to tell people work out from home or take your workout to the gym or whatever. Like it definitely was a little bit of a hurdle, but now we are like ahead of the curve when it comes to, virtual fitness, what we can do, what we can offer, and people are seeking that now. And definitely people have gone, back into the gyms, best of both worlds, but now they're augmenting with what we do. I feel like some people just decide, it is more efficient to do it at home. I'm just going to keep to do that. So our business has, if anything, sped way up. And we have so many programs that are coming and continue to come. They continue to innovate. The Beachbody on Demand platform, the interactive platform. We added the mixed bike, went public last summer, which put us on the map. So our board members and our CEO members are now putting things in place in order to help the coach network grow. And they continue to innovate and they continue to advance. And we are literally like the others are trying to play catch up to us. And it's actually interesting to see articles coming out of Peloton that they stopped manufacturing the bikes and they stopped doing what is happening with all these other industries, So I feel like, when I say recession proof or when I say pandemic proof, you're literally responsible for your income. You don't have to wait for someone to give you a raise. You don't have to wait for someone to give you a bonus. Your work ethic determines what it is that you desire and what you want to go after, right? Like there really is there's no glass ceiling. There's no lid on what you can accomplish in a business like this. Like Christy said, like this is short money. And I think a lot of times it can also be a negative thing because people aren't investing hundreds of thousands of dollars into a business like this. So they forget that all they have to do is turn on their computer and start working, but the opportunities are limitless. Okay, so this is what your pack looks like. There's a lot of choices. So I usually just say get with your coach to go over with you what's going to be the best option. We now have 3 packs and actually I can add a fourth. We have a fourth one. We have a new product called First Thing and Last Thing. And it's just our new nootropic. And it's really brand new. So I hate to go on and on about the first thing because I'm just starting to try it and utilize it myself. So but I can totally get you more information. It's really about starting your day off with focus and energy. I'm looking at it on the floor, so I'm thinking about it. It's your morning health shot. So things like elderberries in it, ashwagandha, lion's mane, like a lot of people take all these supplements all over the place, all these pills and things like this. And it's kind of like this all-in-one. It helps you with your immune support and natural energy. So it's not like it's a bunch of caffeine or anything like that. It's natural energy. And all these different vitamins and minerals, but I can get you another. So you can get another pack, actually, the Glow and Go, and then you can get the First Thing pack too at the same price. And this includes like I said, access to all of our groups, access to all of our trainings, all the things that we talked about. You also get to choose, this is our new live add-on. You get free 30-day trial to our live platform. I am literally on Body every other day, at least, if not more. I love the podcast. I love being a part of the live classes. All this week, I was taking 6 a.m. classes because they just started adding those, but not just fitness classes. They do a lot of cooking channel stuff, and there's a lot of bonuses. So for example, you do a workout program, 645 comes to mind, when you purchased that program and you had the body, you got bonus workouts when you subscribe to Body. So there's just some other perks, especially if you're following a specific trainer. There also is all of the cycling will be on Body. And yeah, so I think that it's important, as you walk away from the presentation, to be thinking about, what can this do for you, right? What can becoming a coach do for your life? How can you impact others? Just not just yourself, but other people. I think often about, when I'm working on myself, when I'm working to get better, that's how I help others get better. This is how I make an impact in the world. And another really big thing that I've been thinking about a lot lately since coming out of Summit is we had the gift of hearing some of our amazing leaders, and one woman talked about how she has a teenage daughter also, and how one of her mom friends gave her like the biggest compliment about how giving and kind her teenage daughter was being to these other girls at their dance class. And she said, she takes right after her mom. And she started crying because she was like, this was not the mom I used to be. Like, I was the yeller, I was this, I was that. Like, I think for me that this is a big thing about, I don't think I was a good mom. I never wanted to be a mom. And so it's been hard for me to kind of grow up and teach my children. But now I'm seeing these things come back when my daughter is struggling with drama at school, or my son is having something, like there's these emotions that come into play. Like yesterday, she came home about, she's a freshman in soccer, and she's obviously not going to start because she's a freshman on the varsity team, and all these things were happening, and I don't know why I have to play this position. And I said to her, look, you cannot control other people out there, right? You can't control their thoughts, their actions. Like, you can only control how you feel about things, how you treat people, how you react. And like finding myself now just regurgitating all of these wonderful things that I've learned and grown through over these years with the personal development and the personal growth. That has definitely been my biggest transformation. I will say, yes, I lost 80 pounds of the programs total over the years and stuff, but my biggest transformation is what has happened between my ears, spiritually, emotionally, how I have become a different person, more patient, a better mom, like all of that kind of stuff. So I think about, what kind of legacy do I want to give my children? What can I grow here and build here in order to leave them, and how they can in turn become better people? Like, if we're, you think about the stuff you hear on the news and the radio and all that stuff, like if we could potentially turn this generation around into being more positive, thinking about if everyone had a positive influence in their life, like, and that replicates, right? I'm a better person, so then I treat you better, and then you become better, and then so on and so on and so on. And eventually we're all awesome and inspirational together, right? How about Christy? Christy, tell me how life has changed for you at this point now, a few years in.
So I agree with what Megan said, like just the inspirational stuff. And you don't realize until you step back and you stop and think, like both of my daughters and even Cody, like, because I've been coaching for almost 8 years and he's 15. So, but fitness was never a part of my family growing up. Like, I will say, and I still am a book nerd. I was the nerdy person in school. Like, I was never into fitness. And although I started Beachbody already into fitness, I wasn't confident. Yeah, I was a certified trainer, but I wasn't confident. Like, I still was intimidated for people to see me work out. I was still like, just like, if you put me in a group fitness class that I wasn't teaching, I was the one in the back corner. And being able to use this platform to help grow confidence and feel more confident in being who I am and what I like. And so while I didn't grow up with fitness, now my kids have grown up seeing me work out and making healthier choices, eating, and like, I didn't know any different. And with this world of like, just not being healthy and health plays a big part in, as we get older and our kids, like for the first time ever, And I'm a big like nerd when it comes to like listening to like podcasts and stuff about health and fitness. And I would have never thought that before, but the more you know, the more you can help people. And so knowing that our generation and the generations below us now have a shorter lifespan than we do, like it's going backwards, like we can impact that now by changing a mom's life changes their kids' lives, which changes the next generation. So, like, we have to start somewhere. So, we have to start on ourselves so that the kids growing up can see that there's a different way to do, you know, community, to do like, you know, treating people and also their health and fitness. Like, I think, you know, just being that part has really like inspired me of like, I want to change the world. Like, I want to go out and all the time, like my husband watches the news. I do not watch the news. I've never watched the news, but we'll start talking. I'm like, I just want to live in my happy bubble. Like, leave me in my happy bubble. And, you know, I know that may sound like, you know, naive or whatever, but creating that happy bubble and creating that like happy atmosphere and paying it forward does so much. And I think you'll never know what the conversations that you'll end up with over being a coach. Like you have no clue until you're in the midst of having a conversation and there somebody sends you a message say, thanks for posting that. Like that really helped me today. That means so much more than my commission check. So
Yeah, for sure. And so Sarah is one of our newer coaches. And so I wanted to just, you know, quickly ask you, you know, how long ago you started with Beachbody, and then just like what has drawn you into becoming a coach, and maybe something that you're getting out of it, and what you're seeing why you're seeing this for you right now.
Yeah. So I started the Beachbody programs back in 2016. I had just had my son and didn't want to go back to the gym, and had heard about these programs through a colleague. So I joined a challenge group at the time with a bunch of coworkers and started doing PIO with Charlene Johnson, and just really grew to love that program. And so since then, I've really continued, you know, to try different workouts within Beachbody On Demand. And what I found is it was an easy way for me to create space within my day to do something for myself. And I could never replicate the feeling of the way I would feel after I completed a workout. I just loved that and continue to love that. So during COVID, it was absolutely my saving grace. These last 2.5 years now, I now work from home, so I don't have the outlet of going to the office. And so I'm 100% remote, and did Bar Blend, and a few other programs in between, but have basically gone back to that and have just continued to love how I have been able to lead a more content and fulfilling day-to-day life that is just more focused, more relaxed. I'm more in tune with what I want. And I just feel so much better when I do this consistently. So I too am looking forward to pursuing the coaching more, because of the reason that Christy just stated. When I have a small group of people that I work with right now that do Beachbody, and every time I post something, I'm getting comments when I'm going to the Boy Scout get together and going out to dinner. I'm seeing girlfriends and they're saying, hey, that quote, family and friends are like, hey, I saw what you posted last week. That really made a difference for me. And when that happens, it is so fulfilling for me. And so I would like to do that more and see that happen more in a more formal way. So I think that's what's really drawing me in. And that's really fulfilling for me to know that I can have that impact on other people's lives.
I love that. I think also, like, we don't often think about, I remember when I was getting ready to graduate college and go into the real world, like no one ever asked me what I was passionate about, what I wanted to do. You just did what you thought you were supposed to. And it wasn't until, I'm always telling my kids, like, you can't possibly know what you want at 17 and 40 years old. Like, I feel like your life just changes so much over the spectrum, right? And it really is, the world is, it's just so much bigger than us. It's just so much bigger than just us. And I will be the first one to tell you that I have always been extremely selfish my whole life. And this has changed my life in that way, because I see this bigger purpose. I see this it's not even about me at all. It's about who you can reach, how you can help, what impact you can make. And like you said, I could be doing that. I do this for free. I feel like I don't even need a paycheck the way it makes you feel. And I'd be doing all the workouts anyways. I'd be sharing what I was doing anyways. Like, it's just that meaningful for sure. All right, do you guys have anything else that you want to add or include before we sign off? No? Okay. All right, thank you so much. So your next step is to just get with the coach that sent this to you. Any questions that you have, you can direct them to them. You can always let us know if you need anything else, if you need any more clarifications or have any concerns about anything. We'd love to talk to you more about coaching and the programs and all the things. So thank you so much for being here and spending your time with us. We really appreciate it. Thanks, ladies. I will see you this week. Have a good weekend.
Thank you. You too.
Bye.
Bye-bye.